And welcome to COMU1140. The University of Queensland acknowledges the traditional owners and their custodianship of the lands on which UQ operates. We pay our respects to their ancestors and their descendants who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. Hi, I'm Alex Bevan. I am your course coordinator and tutor for this course, Multimedia. So I would kind of give yourself pause and think about the thing that you'll be doing most in your future careers as BCom graduates. And what do you think the main employable asset is in this world of increasing automation? One answer is that you'll be most likely creating media content. So in an ever more multi-platformed world with increasing sort of media around us, we live in a very content-hungry sort of era where there needs to be content to kind of appear on all these different platforms. And that is probably what you will most likely be doing as social media coordinators, as people in marketing. You will be in some shape or form making content or managing people who make content. And as for the main employable asset, I personally always feel that the main employable asset that machines cannot possibly replicate is creativity and the sort of potential to be creative and to think creatively on your feet. And these are the sort of assets that this class focuses on honing and cultivating and encouraging for you. Creativity at its heart is being able to think in different ways and with confidence when presented with different contexts, limitations, and setbacks. And in that sort of vein, this course teaches you a few key skills in your BCom degree. It teaches you intro-level media studies production skills, but we don't just want you to learn tech skills without any thought or creativity because, hey, you could use YouTube to do that. There are all sorts of tutorials on how to sort of work Premiere Pro and learn how to kind of make a camera sort of take certain pictures. There's a host of different online sort of learning tools that'll teach you kind of rudimentary skills. However, we want to go a step further and we want to sort of hone your ability to understand the relationship between thinking and making, between sort of conceiving that sort of idea and that creative content, and then following through to sort of its making and design. Secondly, it teaches you to work creatively in groups. So this class is sort of group work based. If you have a look at the rubrics, you'll find out that you're pretty well protected in terms of having an individual mark for the class. But your mark is in part sort of determined by the way that you are interfacing with your groups and the way that you are managing potential group sort of conflict and group successes. Thirdly, it teaches you to critically match the message you want to send with the medium that best suits its content. So it's asking you to critically reflect on each platform or media device that you are sort of currently using, and to sort of ask, what is the content that is best suited to this device? Is it going to be primarily audio-visual? Is it going to be primarily language-based? What kind of style is going to best sort of suit the platform that I'm engaging in at the moment? In terms of course format, this is a blended course, and at UQ that means that part of the course is online and part of the course is face-to-face. And these two elements dovetail with each other. Now, obviously, with sort of present context, this changes slightly. So those of you who are enrolled in the flexible delivery course are going to have online content, and then you're going to kind of meet us in tutorials. And those will be our main workshop arenas where we work in our groups to kind of make our final projects. In the external version of the course, you'll be given access to the same online content as the flexible delivery. And instead of sort of meeting face-to-face in tutorials, you will be having Zoom tutorials, and we'll be doing sort of slightly different activities in those spaces to kind of fit better with what Zoom kind of accommodates and what it offers. But loosely speaking, you'll be kind of following these steps each week. You'll be logging on to Edge, the online teaching platform for this course. At UQ, there are some courses on Blackboard, and then there are others on Edge. In this course, there's both a Blackboard site and an Edge site, and that is because the Blackboard site is the main site that you hand in your assignments. And this is because Blackboard is the site that connects to SciNet Grade Center, so your main student grade center. And that is why we retain the Blackboard sort of version of this course, is because it's mainly a submission portal. So treat it like that. You only go there to submit your assessments. The Edge sort of site is the main hub for this course. So if you go to the Learning Resources section of your Blackboard page and click on the link to the Edge site, it should bring up an Edge site, and it'll prompt you to log in or create an account. You should create an account unless you have one already from perhaps your first semester. You should create an account using your UQ email address. And this is very important. Use your UQ email address. And then once you sort of create an account, the course sort of website should pop up in your Edge account. And Edge is divided into weekly modules, and you'll be moving through a variety of content and activities in those modules on a week-to-week basis. Some is content that I've produced and I sort of deliver to you in video form. Some is content that I had deliver in conjunction with some student staff partners that I've been working with, and we have more of a panel style discussion. Some content is student produced. Some content is tutorials made by our kind of tech team that are specific to this course, or learning modules on LinkedIn Learning, which you'll have access to through the library website. Let me see what else is on Edge. Okay, and then there's some activities that you kind of fill out on Edge. And moving through the sequencing of these sort of units each week, you'll learn all of the major sort of content for that week. So do that each week before you come to your tutorial. And that's important. Before you come to your tutorial, whether it is on Tuesday or Friday, consume the Edge module for that week. So your first tutorial is next week. So in order to go to your next tutorial, consume the introductory sort of section of Edge, the week 1 and the second week in Edge before you go to your first tutorial. So you'll kind of come prepared to your tutorial. And you'll be ready at that point to work for 2 hours. And tutorials will be the main space in which we cover some content and sort of recapping what we've done on Edge, and we'll have some in-class activities. And then the majority of time, especially later on in the semester, will be group work time and studio time, in which you'll be in your groups working on your projects on computers, and the tutor will be circulating among your groups to kind of monitor your progress. You might be pitching your ideas to each other to kind of get some feedback between groups. So these tutorials are incredibly important because they are the main time that you have together face-to-face to do your group work. Now, in the external version of this, and if campus goes into lockdown and we have to go fully external, all of this group work becomes virtual, and you choose a platform that you can work together with. So it could be WhatsApp, and it can be Facebook Messenger, and it can be a Google Drive or Google Doc, whatever works for you. That will be the main hub that you use to communicate with your group members. And I know that you might sort of have some eyebrows raised about the efficacy of this, but from lockdown of last semester, we did not see any decline in the quality of media content and group cohesion from prior semesters. So the bar is quite high in terms of what you can do in a lockdown situation. We had students be very creative with what they could make in terms of media in a lockdown situation. A lot of them shot videos in their backyards. There was just a lot of creativity that people kind of came up with last semester. So we're expecting the same from you. And those are the sort of steps that you're going to move through each week. Something that you should kind of keep a sort of an eye on. You should be honing your media production skills throughout the semester. So in tutorials, we don't teach you media production skills because we think that's a waste of time, and we want you to learn that elsewhere. That's a kind of tech-based polytechnic sort of thing. And this isn't a polytechnic, it's a university. So the production skills take place outside of tutorial. Now, there are two sort of ways of getting these, or a couple different ways of getting these production skills. One is through the Jack Tech workshops. And if you go to Jack Tech, the Jack Tech website, you can sign up for face-to-face workshops to make media. And these are incredibly important, and they're very sort of rare and special opportunities in this current environment. Jack Tech has also made sort of video tutorials on their YouTube website for you to navigate new software programs like Adobe, sort of Premiere Pro and Photoshop. We also have tutorials that the Jack Tech team has made specifically for this course on how to do specific things using Photoshop, like how to make a movie poster using Photoshop. So I would check out those when they're on the Edge, they're in the Edge site. In addition, there's a lot of resources. In addition, there's the LinkedIn Learning sort of portal and database that you have at your disposal, which is, if you go through the library and typed in LinkedIn Learning, you will get a sort of an online link, and it'll ask you to input your UQ information, and then you should kind of get access to a huge array of production tutorials, how-tos. Some of these we've included on the Edge site, but if you have a lot of questions on media production, go to this amazing resource. Also, YouTube is a great sort of, if you are finding it difficult to learn how to do something specific in Photoshop and you forget where it was in the tutorial that you took, you just, pop it into YouTube. Someone has a 3-minute video on how to, insert black sort of black space onto your Premiere Pro. Sorry, I needed a more specific example. Or how to apply a filter in Photoshop, something like that. So those are the array of sort of resources at your disposal that are media production based. And we're expecting you to work consistently at growing those skills throughout the course. not save them till last minute in the last week when you have to kind of make a poster and you're figuring out how to deal with Photoshop a week before your due date. It's not going to go well. You're not going to get a good mark. You need to start learning these programs now and throughout the semester because they're quite demanding, quite complex programs. So what else do I have to tell you in my sort of intro module? I think that's it. In terms of communication, if you have a question about your assessments or your tutorial activities or your group members, or one of your group members is being difficult and is not showing up places and all of that, you email your tutor. And the course staff is sort of introduced in the course staff sort of part of Blackboard and together with their emails. And all of these tutors are incredibly intelligent veterans who've all taught this course before. They know the ins and outs of it. They know exactly how to answer your questions. If you have any other questions, contact me. If you have a marking sort of dispute or sort of question about your mark, contact your tutor first. And then if that isn't resolved, then you can contact me about it. What else do you want to contact me about? If you have any kind of difficulty with your tutor, which nobody does, like it never happens in this course, but I have to say it anyway. If you ever have questions about that, you email me. That's it about communication. I'm sure that you guys have questions about, everything. Either save those questions for tutorial next week, just rock up to tutorial ready with your questions, or you can email me sort of your broad sort of initial questions about how the course is going to run. I know usually this sort of intro talk that I'm giving to you right now is usually face-to-face in the large lecture theater, and I get to kind of see you, see your lovely faces, and interact with you on a personal basis, and establish some rapport. In fact, usually there are 3 live sort of lectures in this course, like spaced throughout the semester. But, due to present circumstances, I've decided to make these virtual just, to be on the safe side. But yeah, it does sort of rob us of the opportunity to kind of meet each other face to face. And I'll only kind of meet my own tutorials face to face next week. But hey, if ever you want to kind of meet me face to face or you want to discuss something about the course, you can always email me and we can kind of set up an appointment. I know it's a large class, but it's never too large for, one person's sort of questions or, desire to have a one-on-one meeting. So that's my initial spiel about what the course is about, why you should care, what you should do each week. And yeah, check out the next video in which I kind of get into some actual teaching content. Okay.